Coming up on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, we're going to take a look at the possibility of Chicago signing former Super Bowl champion. That would be cornerback Malcolm Butler. Also, a lot of hype around defensive coordinator Alan Williams, a current Hall of Famer, comparing him to a future Hall of Famer. We'll explain that. And then, yes, the Russell Wilson for Justin Fields trade idea simply will not go away, but that's why you subscribe, because we break down the juiciest Chicago Bears news and rumors. We're closing in on 43,000 subscribers, so hit that big red button and stay tuned for today's show. Shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. You can get 20% off with promo code BEARS20 when you go to manscaped.com. At checkout, use promo code BEARS20 to get 20% off all of their men's grooming products. Okay, let's get into a Friday rumors roundup here on Chicago Bears Now. How about the idea of signing Malcolm Butler, former cornerback with the Titans and with the Patriots? Of course, won a Super Bowl in New England with that famous playoff Russell Wilson. One Smokin' Jay. Just going to give it one. You're probably thinking, I haven't heard of Malcolm Butler in a while. Well, that is because he actually did not play in the NFL last season. He signed with the Cardinals before last year, but after training camp or during training camp, not exactly sure when, he left the team for personal reasons, was placed on the reserve/retired list by Arizona. Many thought his career could be over. He's over 30 now. He was 31 last season when he sat out. But something interesting that happened on the transaction wire Thursday afternoon was the Cardinals released him from the reserve/retired list. So people are speculating maybe he's ready to make a comeback after 1 year off. Look, I'd kick the tires on him. I don't think there's any harm in that. I don't think his market's going to be super expensive. I'd kick the tires on him because he's a guy for a handful of years that was considered an elite corner in this league. That play in the Super Bowl obviously put him on the map, but he played well for a few more years with the Patriots. He was really good with the Titans. Guys, in the 2020 season, which was 2 seasons ago, just took 1 year off, he had 100 tackles, 4 picks, and 14 pass breakups. He was a good corner the last time we saw him. Now, I don't expect him to be a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of level player, but could he possibly come in and compete for a starting role on this team or elsewhere? I think it's possible. Now, I will say this with the caveat of saying I do think they should consider kicking the tires if he does want to play, because Jaylon Johnson's the only proven corner on this roster, is A, they do need cornerback help, but B, you should not sign Malcolm Butler thinking, oh, he solves all your problems. That's what kick the tires means, right? Let's see what he has left, right? Remember last year the Bears kicked the tires on Desmond Trufant. Some personal stuff came up, and ultimately that's why they cut him. But that didn't work out. But maybe this one would, and if not, no harm, no foul. I don't think Malcolm Butler's a guy you would have to give a lot of money to. He could come in, compete for a starting role. But again, all of that being said, you need other quarterback help. You can't just sign Malcolm Butler and say, we got our CB2 solved. I would not enter the offseason with that approach. But if you sign him, he shows something, makes the team, and starts, that's great. If he's washed, who cares? Not a big deal. Would you kick the tires and sign Malcolm Butler? Type S for sign him. Type P for pass. You're not interested. Get your votes in right now in the comments. Let's keep it moving here. How about trade Justin Fields for Russell Wilson? The Russell Wilson trade to the Bears can't go away. Fake news. This just isn't going to happen. And it shouldn't happen, to be quite frank. Bleacher Report put out an article a couple of weeks back, and it's recirculated on Twitter and in the headlines the past couple of days. So I figured I'd finally talk about it. They did an article of trades that would reshape the league, and they led off with this one, a Justin Fields for Russell Wilson trade idea. Look, we know last offseason, before the draft, by the way, this was not after they drafted Fields, before the draft, there was real interest between the Bears and Wilson, and quite frankly, I believe between Wilson and the Bears. And from reports that have circulated over the last several months, apparently that trade was in written agreement, but Pete Carroll bailed at the last second. He said, I'm not ready to trade Russ. I want to keep trying to win. We'll see what happens with Russ this offseason. But once the Bears drafted Fields, I think that's a key detail here, that's when things changed. There's no more pursuing Russell Wilson, at least at this point. It just doesn't make sense. You've got Justin Fields now. He's your starting quarterback. I'm just done with Justin Fields trade ideas and these articles of trades that Chicago could send Fields elsewhere. Why? Well, if you want to try and get Russell Wilson, it's going to cost you a lot. Now, obviously, Russell Wilson is one of the better quarterbacks of this generation. I'm not disputing that. He's obviously a really good quarterback and has a damn good chance of being in the Hall of Fame one day. But he's almost 32, 33 years old now. It's going to cost you a lot. Yeah, I'll concede. Obviously, Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Justin Fields right now. But you know what's also true? You wouldn't just be trading Fields for Russ straight up. It's going to cost you a lot more, and you're going to take on a massive salary cap hit, and you've got other needs on this roster. I'm not on board with this whatsoever. Would you trade Fields and draft picks, because it's going to cost more, for Russell Wilson? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. We'll talk a little bit more about this in just a moment. But first, shout out to Manscaped again for sponsoring today's show. I'm a huge fan of their ultra premium collection that they dropped recently, which includes 5 products. You got shampoo and conditioner bottle there, body wash, body spray for after you take a shower. It's going to keep your skin nice and moisturized. You'll be smelling good as well. Deodorant, can't be forgetting that stuff like Producer Coop, and then lip balm as well. Free shipping and 20% off when you use promo code Bears20. This price for this collection here, 5 products for only $40 is fantastic. Got to use that promo code, of course, to get it. Bears20 at manscaped.com. That link will be in the comments and in the description of this video. Back to the Fields-Wilson stuff. Can we just focus on Fields? Like, I know some of you guys in the comments are like, but Russ is better. You could win sooner. Like, maybe that's true. For sure, he's better. There's no doubt about that. I'm not convinced trading Fields and multiple first-round picks, which you don't even have one this year, actually just makes you an immediate contender, by the way, because you've got other issues on this roster. I just want to see this team commit to Fields. I want to build around this kid and his skill set, and if things work, you've got your guy for the next 12, 15 years. I mean, that's how this works. If you draft a quarterback and hit on him, you've got him for the next decade plus. Justin Fields flashed a lot of potential as a rookie. He's a dual-threat guy. He there's a lot of, advanced analytics out there that will tell you he's one of the better deep ball throwers in the league already. So why not just capitalize on his skill set and capitalize on Ryan Pace doing you a favor and drafted him last year and seeing if you can maximize him? I don't know if it's going to work out. What I do know is trading for Russell Wilson is going to cost a lot, and that's not something I'm interested in for a guy who's north of 32 and makes a lot of money. I don't want to trade Fields and draft picks. Like, that's what you're going to have to do. So I'm just not interested in that. You don't have a lot of draft capital already. Look, had the RUSS trade gone down last offseason, I would have been on board, but things change. You drafted Fields. Commit to the kid. I don't think that's too much to ask at the end of the day. If the Bears were a Russell Wilson away from winning a Super Bowl, I'd think differently. I don't think they are. I think they have other issues. Offensive line, weapons are limited on offense. You need help on your defense as well. Build around Fields and spend that free agency money elsewhere, and maybe you try to compile draft picks instead of trade them all away. Want to see the Bears build around Justin Fields like I do? If you do, type me in the comments. That's all I want. Commit to this kid. Give him this year and next year, and let's see if he grows and develops. If he doesn't, okay, you revisit the quarterback situation the next year or two. But right now, I'm all in on Justin Fields, and I'm typing me in the comments. Next up, Alan Williams, similar to Mike Tomlin. Wow. Well, 2 smoking Jays. People are talking. And you know who is talking is Hall of Famer Tony Dungy, who hopped on The Athletic with Adam Johns, who covers the Bears over there, does a great job. Dungy compared Alan Williams to Mike Tomlin. Now, Alan Williams coached under Dungy both in Indianapolis in his first stint there and in Tampa Bay, and in that 2001 staff that just had tons of good coaches on it, of course, as well. Mike Tomlin was also on that 2001 Bucs staff, so him and Alan Williams actually overlapped for a year, and that's why Dungy's able to compare and contrast, because he's coached with both of these guys. Here's what Dungy had to say to The Athletic, quote, "He was a lot like Mike Tomlin. He did everything perfectly. He was just ready. He wasn't flashy, but just sound, solid, just what you're looking for." And quite frankly, this is what I like to hear. The Bears don't need flash right now. They need solid coaches who are all business, and ultimately they need results. Fundamentals, tackle well, catch the football, move the chains on offense. They don't need flash right now. They're not in a place where they overnight can turn into the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes with sidearm throws and one-handed catches and all this stuff. just be fundamentally sound and start playing smarter and better football. And then, sure, over time, flash naturally happens to good teams, right? Like, that's just how this works. So come in, put your head down, bring your lunch pail to work, and let's go. That's what this new coaching staff seems like to me with Eberflus and Alan Williams. And quite frankly, I'm a fan of that mentality. Will the Bears make the playoffs next year? I don't know. We'll see what happens in the NFC North. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. I think it's possible. I think the schedule allows it to think that is a possibility. Get your votes in and let me know. And one quick reminder to subscribe. Told you guys off the top, we are closing in on 43,000 subscribers, less than 300 away. It would mean the world to me. If you guys help me get there, I would appreciate it. Let's keep this channel growing with free agency less than a month away. The link's right there, youtube.com/Bears. Now, I will continue to bring you guys the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors on a daily basis. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you soon here on Bears Now.